We're going to welcome our guest here in just a second. I just want to note the poll question is up. If you had a choice tonight, would you rather watch a Ball State versus Miami, Ohio college football game or any other Major League Baseball game? You can vote at Dirt Sprague right now.
I'm going to go vote right now. It's an easy one for me.
It's a 50-50 split start.
Oh,
it's a 50-50 split to start.
All right.
I mean, look,
I'm at that point. I don't really care. I'm okay admitting it. I love all the other
what's
sports.
What's the best game tonight in baseball, not including your team?
I mean, my team's not playing a great game. They're playing the Pirates, and they suck. So I don't watch Giants and Pirates tonight if you can help it. Outside of that, I could give you...
Dude, I'm not seeing a lot of great ones.
Diamondbacks, Tigers at 3:40.
Dodgers, Reds?
Dodgers, Reds.
Reds are in the playoff hunt?
Yeah, Dodgers, Reds maybe. Red Sox, no. Twins are terrible.
Yeah.
Brewers and Cubs. Brewers and Cubs, best game of the day.
Okay. There you go. It's
battle for first place in the NL Central.
Also, Ryan Sandberg passed away yesterday, and so there's probably going to be a good moment there.
That would be your game, but I would still take Miami, Ohio versus Toledo.
I feel like I have an answer for our guest, Heather Dinich of ESPN, our great friend on Twitter, at CFB Heather. She does a great job covering the sport. Give her a follow on social media. Heather, good morning. Would you rather watch Miami, Ohio versus Ball State randomly tonight or any Major League Baseball game?
Oh, Miami, Ohio, Ball State.
Yeah.
Every day and twice on Sunday. Come on, guys.
Come on. You know better than that to ask a dumb question like that.
Look, we knew the answer was going to be. We wanted it confirmed because we're sickos as well for the sport. You have been all over the country covering these media days. You've been on Feinbaum. You've been on all the ESPN shows. Heather Dinich, your takeaway from the off-season narratives as we get close to camp and the start of the season, week 0, a couple weeks away. Heather Dinich, the big takeaway for you so far of all the places you've been and people you've talked to is what?
The big takeaway would be that it's very possible the college football playoff could stay at 12 teams in 2026 because the Big Ten and SEC cannot agree right this minute on what the format should look like. I mean, in Atlanta at SEC Media Days, the one person I spoke with was Missouri coach Eli Drinkwitz, who was in favor of automatic qualifiers. Not a majority, but a lot of coaches in the SEC would like a 16-team model that has the 5 highest-ranked conference champions and then 11 at-large teams. And then I went to Big Ten Media Days in Las Vegas, where every coach thanked Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti and talked about the need for automatic qualifiers like it was scripted. I mean, it was just entrenched in that belief with nobody going rogue off script. So, you know, I think to me that was the big thing that stood out. But honestly, guys, it was just fun to talk to players and coaches about football because there's so much other crap going on, right? And it's just like, play the games and let's talk about these teams. And it was nice to just visit with coaches and players and just talk some ball.
Yeah, I think that's the point we're all excited about. Once the season kicks off, a lot of the other stuff kind of goes to the background until we start yelling at each other in Week 7 about Indiana's fraudulent non-conference schedule, and then it kind of comes back to the forefront. I did have to ask you, though, Heather, like, we're obviously following Dan Lanning and everything that he's saying, and he had another press conference yesterday. He is incredibly guarded and very smart with his words, a lot of coach speak, doesn't give a lot of red meat out to the media. I'm scrolling my Twitter timeline. I had watched his opening press conference at Big Ten Media Day. Nothing that interesting was said other than the double down and, we're back and feeling like it's going to be a good year. And then I see CFB Heather on Twitter sending out a tweet saying, I asked Dan Lanning about this, and he said, quote, I don't mind being the silent assassin. And that was something that every Duck fan was like, oh, there it is. He said something. How did it feel to get Lanning, and what did you make of your conversations with him?
Well, to be truthful, I get a lot of the same coach speak too, because he often prefaces his answers to me with, "You're not going to like this answer," but and he he proceeds to do exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, we were just talking at Big Ten Media Days. There really has been a lot of hype around Ohio State and Penn State, and deservedly so. But I mean, Oregon did win the Big Ten in their first year in the conference. And somehow, they're just like kind of being overlooked a little bit. And so I asked him about that. That was his response. He said there are going to be a lot of new faces that people at home don't know, but they know within the program. And he said last year was his most talented team, but this year there wasn't a huge talent drop off. So it is always nice to catch up with him and squeeze whatever I can out of him.
Yeah, it's nice when that happens. Heather Dinich, our guest here, ESPN on Twitter at CFB Heather. Find her, of course, on all the platforms at ESPN, ESPN.com, and on the SEC network as well. Who is your Arizona State this season? The team that might not be getting any buzz, any love, that you think could emerge and become a pretty nice playoff story this season?
So in the Big Ten, I like Illinois, which is a popular pick, but I've been talking about them for months. So I just want to say that, they have 18 starters back, including Luke Altmaier, their quarterback, who has all of his starting offensive linemen back. And they were a top 25 team last year. But when you think about college football playoffs, you probably aren't thinking about Illinois. As far as Arizona State, when you look in the Big 12, I would say that is the most competitive conference this year in the Power Four. Not the best, but the most competitive, because it's another year like last year where I'm guessing we're going to get into November and there's still going to be 6 teams capable of winning that Big 12 title and making a run like ASU did. And Texas Tech is a team a lot of people are talking about, because of the amount of money that boosters have poured into that in terms of NIL roster.
Yeah, that's the Big 12 is going to be that every year, just utter chaos, which is going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'm curious to ask you, Heather, you cover the college football playoff stuff at large, and you write a lot about it and the debates about what the model should look like and how many teams should we go to. And I think there's some fans that after a while you just kind of just pick a lane. Can we just pick what the format's going to look like? The irony of it is, despite all of the, NIL, transfer portal, and the bashing that happens on social media, I feel like the sport on the field is maybe in a better spot than it's ever been. And we have a balance of talent, I guess, across the top of the sport, maybe more so than we've ever seen. There's no super dominant team coming into the year. And I'm just curious, do you feel that same way about the sport, where we can have a lot of this offseason nonsense, but then when the games kick off, it seems like this is going to be one of the more entertaining years we've had in a while?
Yes, I would agree with that. And I think the answer is twofold. Part of it is because the playoff itself is more inclusive. So if you have a chance to win your conference, you have a chance at competing for a national title. That has changed in the 12-team college football playoff. That opens the door to, 3 times as many teams that we're talking about than previously. But the other point that you made, which is a good one, is it is getting harder to stockpile NFL talent for one team. So at the top, you are seeing a bit of more balance. You're not seeing an Alabama or an Ohio State get everybody, right? It's a little more evenly dispersed. But I will say that even though we have this appearance of fairness,
Right.
The reality is that come January 20th or 21st, whenever the national championship is, the same 5 or 6 teams are still going to win the national title because they're the only ones who can afford the depth at quarterback, offensive, defensive lines.
Yeah.
That's how you win a national title, right? And so congratulations to, Arizona State, Colorado, whoever it might be, who makes it to the first round or gets a bye, gets to the second round. You still have to last, and you have to be able to rotate guys in and out. You guys know this. You need, 8 to 10 guys. Look at Texas with Arch Manning, had to come in and play. Quinn Ewers got hurt. Carson Beck got hurt. Who are the teams that can have a second-string quarterback capable of helping you win a national title?
Is Oregon in that list for you? You said there's 5 or 6 teams realistically that can win it. All the other teams are, they get to celebrate making the playoff, which I actually think is a great thing. Is Oregon one of those 5 or 6 to you?
Yes, they are, because Dan Lanning comes from SEC country. He knows how to recruit depth like that. He knows the priorities. He has been a transfer quarterback master. I'm wondering how that experiment is going to play out this year, if he can continue that success. But, yeah, I do believe that he knows that. He understands that kind of depth, which is why you're going to see them continue to compete for the Big Ten championship this year and the college football playoff, is because you can lose that many guys and plug them in. But you also have to get to a point where you're like Steve Sarkisian at Texas and you lose 11 guys or whatever it is to the NFL, and the guys behind them are maybe even better.
It's a good spot to be in as a program. You would mention at Big Ten Media Days the marching orders that everybody followed perfectly from Tony Petitti. I'm curious on that. Do you think we're ever going to get any form of standardized scheduling, because that seems to be the big breakup for them. The SEC refuses to go to 9 conference games, or they debated it, but they haven't yet. And the Big Ten saying, well, wait a minute, we play 9, so we can, Indiana and Kurt Cignetti saying we can play 3 nobodies in non-conference because we got to play 9 conference games. You do the exact same thing. Do you think we're ever going to see a standardized version of that in the sport?
I do think it's only a matter of time before the SEC and the ACC join the Big Ten with a 9-game conference schedule. Greg Sankey told me on the record out loud he favors that. He also went on to say that I don't roll with an iron fist type thing, and I listen to my ADs and coaches. I've talked to multiple sources in the ACC who would be amicable to doing that. Not right this second, but I don't think it's something that they would rule out and kind of dig their heels in and say we're never doing this. So I certainly think that that's possible, but where I would push back on Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti is the idea that an 8-4 team is always going to be a playoff team. And his argument and the proponents of the automatic qualifiers, which I understand, is, hey, we play a really tough schedule. You can still be a great team with 4 losses. And I want to say, yeah, maybe, but if all 4 of those losses are to top 25 teams, how are you going to beat a top 25 team in the playoffs?
Amen.
At some point,
Amen.
At some point, you have to prove it, right? So I don't want to see the leaders of college football lower the bar, for qualification for the playoff. And I get it. You can be a 3-loss team in either one of those leagues and still be really, really good. You can beat the SEC champ or the Big Ten champ and have 3 other losses, right? So that's why you need the committee to look at it and say, well, they lost this one. It was close, but they beat these guys. So I think there's a combination of the right answer there.
Yeah, take him to church, Heather. That was the stupidest answer from a commissioner. This media session was like 6-3 is a great record.
Nobody wanted to see Iowa in the college football playoff
and
last
you could
year.
lose a couple non-conference. Like, cool, we're getting to 7-5 as a playoff team in your mind, Petitti. Get out of here. Last one for you, because we appreciate getting you on. We know you're super busy, and you're one of the more requested guests, I think, at ESPN to talk college football for sure. Who is the coach going into the year for Heather Dinich on the hottest of hot seats?
Ooh, on the hottest of hot seats. Jeez. A lot of people have questions about Mark Stoops, but because he had such a horrible season last year, but I think he's done more good at that program. Sam Pittman, I think, is a fair question. At Arkansas, Lincoln Riley, I think, gets too much heat. I really do, at USC. And I had a chance to catch up with him at Big Ten Media Days about where his program is. It was an interesting conversation, but he believes that they're trending in the right direction. I mean, if I had to pick somebody off the top of my head, I would go with Pittman at Arkansas.
It's crazy. I think that's the right answer. It feels like everybody knows he's going to get fired, and we're all just kind of waiting for the
Sam
answer.
Pittman kind of knows he's going to get fired. Let's just enjoy one more year in Arkansas.
Interesting stuff. Good stuff. Heather Dinich, one of our favorites, ESPN. Give her a follow on Twitter at CFB Heather. We always appreciate the time, Heather, and let's catch up with you soon. Football season is here. Thank you for all the great coverage, the quotes. You do great work, and we can't wait to bring you back on.
Sounds good, my friend. Thanks so much for having me on.
All right, there we go. Another college football sicko, Heather Dinich, ESPN, with some good stuff. It says Lincoln Riley, not in as hot of water as others suggest.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different take than you normally hear. I think a lot of it is depending on your belief of what USC is going to do this year. Like, if you're a believer in Lincoln Riley and what he's building and you think he's going to have a 9-win season this year, then I totally get the take. That, to me, is still a question mark if he can do it. And if he doesn't do it, then I think it's a totally valid conversation.